We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22smedia.com and 88.1 FM KKJZ HD3 Long Beach, Los Angeles.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and now, Aurora Broadcasting Tag Team Champions of the World and a Cruiserweight Champion.
I'm Ethan.
I'm James.
I'm Rob.
And this is episode 211 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR, Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, we also have our production assistant, Yudith Avelar Velasco. You can go ahead and follow her over on Instagram at Yudith36. Excuse me. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter at EthanMB95. Go ahead and follow James on Twitter at
JHW Reporter.
And producer Rob Flores at
Rob Flores Media, and don't forget the R2 for the answer, Ethan.
So I was gonna go into this week excited, thrilled to talk about
your person one.
I know to talk about Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge the man and get it over with.
Yep. You know what? Just for that, I'm gonna spend the whole hour acknowledging him.
As long as you do it quietly. Thanks.
All right. And then I was looking to discuss Clash of the Castle. I was looking to talk about Worlds Collide. Looking to talk about Mandy Rose. Looking to talk about
Dominic Mysterio.
Sure. I was looking to talk about Braun Strowman. I was looking to talk about Pat McAfee. I was looking to talk about Triple H
and Bret Hart.
Shawn Michaels.
And Bret Hart.
Bret Hart was in attendance. I was looking to talk about all that. But no, we got derailed. We have got derailed because we've actually got to talk about AEW this week. In length. Might I add.
Yeah.
It's
been a week.
All Out. Their version, it's their WrestleMania, basically, their big event. Happened in Chicago.
So what the heck they think was going to happen there?
I don't know. CM Punk ended up regaining the title he lost a couple of weeks ago to Jon Moxley, as expected.
You think so?
Yeah, he got squashed so fast, so he had to win it back.
You think so?
It's Chicago, it's hometown. Yeah. Anyways, that's not the pay-per-view. I don't know what else happened. That's not what everyone's talking about. Everyone's talking about what happened after the fact. And that was the media scrum that happened. They like to do these 3-hour media scrums, however long they are. I don't have the audio. Well, I can't play most of the audio.
Why, he has a potty mouth?
Yeah. I don't have the transcripts. There you go. Look at Rob came prepared. Look at that. Split screen here. CM Punk basically started off before a question was even asked. First off, all bloody and everything. Started off talking about Scott Colton, I believe his real name is, which is Colt Cabana. Talking about he's tired of the elite members or whoever. He didn't specify anyone, but he talked about kind of his friends spreading lies and rumors about his relationship with Colt Cabana, stating he hasn't had a relationship since 2014, a friendship with them. Saying
that was a very long time ago.
Very long time ago. He mentioned different things about their suits, their countersuits, and
that Colt Cabana lives with his mom, or shares a bank account with his mom.
Share a bank account.
We're not knocking him for that, but that's just what he said.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. It was a bunch of stuff. And so he stopped there. He called out the interviewer because I guess the interviewer is from Chicago and apparently did a karaoke night with Colt Cabana at some point. He called him out and the interviewer was like, "No, I'm not friends with the guy." That was years ago. So, and I guess yes, it was an improv class with Cabana. And then I guess a few questions go by, and then he brings it up again. He brought
So he's
situation
bringing
up.
it. CM Punk is bringing it up.
He brought it up multiple times throughout the time he's there.
And this is
It's very
imagine
awkward.
right
Tony
after
Khan is right next to him, by the way.
Tony Khan is right next to him. You just won a title in your hometown, especially after you just got squashed a couple weeks before, as you just mentioned. So, if you want to build this storyline, the main reason why you're there, they want your reaction, kind of just on the title. How you bounced back from the injury you had the last couple months. You were the champion, you got squashed, yada yada yada. And you're talking about some from 2014. But this is just the first time I guess is this his first time just talking to the media since
I think
all
so.
the Colt Cabana stuff happened, or
Probably. I'm sure he's mentioned it somewhere else, but I think this has been leading up to it.
but
He mentioned Hank.
real quick. Well, again, I just find it interesting. A lot of this stuff's just coming to my head. That's why I'm just saying it while I think it. But it's just like, I hear so often about wrestlers who they have this rush or this energy that, from being in the ring, being in front of a live crowd, and then when they come back after the match, they're still on that high or that rush. I would just think you would be your focus would still be on the crowd or just the excitement of that or the match. Like, wasn't it like a bloody match between him and not Dean Amber, John Moxley, yada yada yada. Like, and the first thing you start talking about is that Colt Cabana.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
He then goes to Adam Page. He calls him, I forget what the word was. Basically says he has no brain. He calls him out for not wanting to take veteran advice. And I guess he, because Hangman was, I guess, defending Colt weeks ago, whatever. This was an awkward interaction they've had or whatever in the past.
Mhm.
And it was just so random. Lastly, he says he works with children. And he's talking about the elite. Tony is trying to offset all of this, by the way, at certain points.
So when you're watching this, so the clip I saw where he was talking about some of the Colt Cabana stuff, and by him,
he was eating a muffin, by the way. Yeah.
Was he? Well, by him I mean, CM Punk, and he was eating something, but I didn't see Tony Khan in this shot, even though I know Tony Khan's usually there for a lot of this stuff.
He was right next to him, and so he was trying to talk over him sometimes to try and okay.
Because I was like, what
offset that? Yeah.
Because the segment that I saw, the part of it,
this was different
Tony
parts.
Khan, but Tony Khan just never said anything. I did not even know he was there just from the clip that I saw on Twitter. So just super interesting.
Yeah. So, anyways, that ends. He kind of leaves.
Mm-hmm.
Minutes later, there's a security that rushes out, and I think goes to Tony Khan. And we hear that there's a backstage scrum
because Tony Khan is still at the press conference.
He's been there the entire time.
Punk, right? So Punk leaves. Tony Khan's still there. Maybe someone else comes to talk, and a security guard comes rushing up to Tony Khan to
goes to his ear, tell them something going on. We hear this backstage scrum between members of the elite.
So you hear it.
I don't know if we hear it, but I'm talking about the world hears it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's kind of made public. But I think there was some shouting and stuff, so I don't know if you actually hear it on the audio or anything. But Punk was drinking an energy drink, I believe. He might have been hopped up on the energy drink too. Anyways, the elite, Omega, and the Bucks apparently went to Punk's dressing room. So this kind of got cleared up earlier today, kind of last night. So, but this got cleared up basically that they went to his dressing room. They knocked on the door. This is from their side.
Mm-hmm.
Punk would have let him in. Punk's in there with Ace Steel, who we talked about last week. I believe he's a producer or something. I don't.
Yeah, he was. I think was he the guy in the ring with CM Punk?
Yeah, that's him. So he's a good buddy with Punk. I believe Ace, his wife, is also there, as well as CM Punk's dog.
Not the dog.
The dog was in there. So at this point, I believe they stated that there was going to be some type of battle, whatever, Kenny Omega actually takes CM Punk's dog and kind of like puts him aside because he didn't want the dog to get hurt.
Good old Kenny.
That's what they're at that point. Ace grabs Omega's hair and starts biting him. That's something we heard on Sunday too.
Yeah,
so
I heard
that's
something about
apparently. And there's another point where I think Nick Jackson got a black eye. CM Punk knocked out one of them, and Ace threw a chair into the other person's eye, the other Buck's eye, whatever. Anyway, someone was knocked out. Someone left with a black eye, and Omega was bit. So
sounds like the Elite kind of lost.
I think so. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, it's just
I don't.
So okay, so then we had Dynamite tonight.
We had Dynamite tonight. It was revealed that
and he kind of teased that something was gonna go on. He kind of teased something. There was talk of possible suspensions or something like that.
There were suspensions that did happen.
Now, did he give specifics when he says what he says? I'm assuming he says it live.
No, he didn't say anything. This was earlier in the day.
Right. Okay.
It was reported by Sports Illustrated. So once Punk exited the press room, he exchanged words in a locker room with Omega and the Bucks, which led to a physical altercation. Punishment for that backstage fight, Sports Illustrated has learned, will include suspensions for everyone involved. The list of those receiving suspensions includes Omega, Matt and Nick Jackson, Pat Buck, who was a producer for WWE pretty recently, actually. He's now a producer in AEW. Christopher Daniels, who is, I believe he's like the head of talent relations there.
Yeah.
Michael Nakazawa, who's aligned with the Omega and the Elite, and Brandon Cutler, also aligned with the Bucks. Multiple sources have also shared that Punk and Ace Steel will either be among those suspended or no longer be with the company by the end of Wednesday. Punk met with Khan on Tuesday, so the two had the opportunity to discuss how the exit would be handled. So it looks like Pat Buck and Christopher Daniels tried to break it up, I think, but they were caught in the crossfire.
Why are
they got suspended? I don't know. They were all involved. I don't know.
Maybe it's just to kind of make a statement or something. But I think it's
well,
interesting.
They're still looking into it. There's still an investigation going on. So I guess that's why they were just like, okay, everyone who was in that situation is not going to be on tonight's show, which they weren't. They weren't mentioned. They didn't mention anything. They didn't mention CM Punk. They didn't mention the Elite at all. So that was that.
And those were two title changes that happened and that happened at the pay-per-view.
Punk was a champion and the Elite were champions, trios champions.
They won the championships.
Correct. Both those titles have since been vacated. In other words,
imagine paying for that pay-per-view and then I guess technically none of that.
So there's a lot of back and forth. I've been seeing on Twitter both sides, different people. It seems like most of the heat is on CM Punk because he kind of incited it on the press conference.
Okay, but at the beginning there, you said
he was seemingly trying to defend himself because he claims there was rumors spread about him, and stuff like that. At the same time, he was also there's been reports that he's kind of been toxic around the locker room.
Supposedly he's been toxic for a while, but
exactly.
But CM, but you said the Bucks coming to CM Punk's locker room. It
was reported from their side. We got their side, I believe. I don't know if they themselves talked about it or someone on their behalf.
Yeah.
But they knocked on the door. They weren't answering. They finally got through or whatever. I don't know. So it's interesting. I don't know. I really don't know what they're gonna do.
No,
Punk's probably done.
If Punk's done, then Punk is done because I don't think he's going back to WWE.
I don't think they want him in WWE.
Did you share the clip? You shared the clip with me with the Chris Jericho podcast?
Yeah, a few years back or whatever. Basically, yeah. He
Wait,
called himself
so
a locker room leader.
he called himself the locker room leader. Booker T wasn't about it.
But
anyways,
he's like, pick up their trash, and Booker T was like, he threw his trash. Anyways,
But now, so after CM Punk won, MJF came out.
that was a big story too.
And that was
it was
supposed to be the big
overshadowed.
story. Yes, exactly. That was supposed to be overshadowed. Again, that's what I'm saying. Of all the things that were going on around CM Punk, just in terms of storyline, getting ready to start this next program, and now you have this happen, and now it derails everything. But the point I make with that is, I think I saw on Twitter like where CM Punk, no, not well, did MJF have a promo where he was saying like, oh, he's the new locker room leader or something?
Something.
I saw something like that, and it made me think about that.
It seems like we're gonna get Moxley MJF. That seems like the new direction they're going with.
Yeah, because they had the tournament, right?
Yeah. So CM Punk, still unknown. We were supposed to find out, I guess, today, but his title is vacated, so he's not gonna show up anytime. I would assume in the near future.
I mean, at the very least, he's suspended.
At the very least, he and Ace are suspended. Everyone else has been suspended indefinitely. Don't know how long.
Do you find it interesting that the Young Bucks supposedly helped create this whole thing,
They're
whatever,
EVPs,
and they're suspended? So, but again, is that maybe a statement being made there by Tony Khan and them to like?
They shouldn't be going into people's locker rooms if they were threatening, which apparently, according to Punk's camp, that may have been the case. Whatever. It should have been handled better.
Like, but who's scared of the Young Bucks in real life? Like,
clearly they got taken out pretty easy.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I don't know what's going on. Everyone needs to be punished.
Omega just got back not too long ago, right? Then his
comeback tour is over.
Yeah, he just came back, right? And who do they compete with in the trios? Who do they beat?
I'm not sure, honestly.
Okay, I'm trying to remember.
There's a bunch of tag teams I heard.
That was in the Jungle Boy.
No.
Jungle Boy in them, right? Okay. I'm not sure.
So, anyways, we got a minute and a half to go. We're going to wrap this up in this segment because it's kind of been talked about. We don't know if Punk has actually been fired.
Yeah, we just know they all went on the show. We don't know how long it is.
They're all suspended. No one was mentioned. They did not mention it on the show. They just said the titles are vacated. They're having tournaments for him. That's it.
And the trio title, they had new trio champions right away. I think tonight.
I believe they did. They did crown those champions. I don't know who.
We'll get that after the break. Who won that?
Sure. But yeah, there's a tournament for the world title now, and
after they just had a tournament to determine the interim, no. And I mean, these tournaments are
go. These interim titles gotta stop.
And the tournaments are very kind of man. I don't. It's just kind of WCW-ish. Not the tournament stuff, but just the drama and everything else. But have I not been saying this?
Everyone's been talking.
I've been saying this forever.
Tony Khan's been saying it. I want this to be like WCW and ECW. I don't think you do.
He's been saying that?
He said it in the press conference. He's like, I don't think you do, sir. It's not,
sure. Do you not know what happened? Do you not know what happened to those two?
Say about WWE saying he had more money than them. That's nice. But when you have your locker room,
you got more problems than them too.
So, anyways, when we come back, we're going to try and talk about something else. We'll probably bring it up again, but it's a lot to discuss.
The young upstart,
Triple H.
Not Damien. He might as well change his name to Damien.
We are 22S Radio. 22S Radio is 22sradio.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ, HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 211 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR, Pro Wrestling Talk. Of course, I'm your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, producer, Rob Flores, and production assistant, Yudith Avelar Velasco. Go ahead and follow us collectively on Twitter at RealBTR Radio, as well as Facebook.com/Beyond the Ropes, and YouTube. Just search up Beyond the Ropes, and you will see our beautiful faces on there. Make sure you go give us a like, subscribe, share it, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. Trying to get that content out there for you guys. Some big news coming out of the weekend, aside from the AEW mess that's going on over there. A
Mhm.
disaster. It seemed like they had a good show tonight, so good for them, I guess.
I
But
guess.
I guess I don't know. Um, Triple H. There's been a lot of discussion about Triple H over the last month since he's taken over head of creative and taken back the EVP role for talent relations. Um, nice.
Um,
um,
yeah,
sorry, reading comments here from Rob. But talking about, yes, Triple H did an interview with Ariel Hawani, I believe
yeah.
his name is,
Mm-hmm.
over on BT Sports. They sat down to chat for about an hour, a little more than that. Good, insightful interview. He talked about his health. Kind of skipped over that part because kind of got a little, got a little heavy to discuss. Kind of talked about, he went in depth with the situation, talking about, this happened at this time and then I had to go this, it was very detailed. So kind of a heavy piece there, good 15 minutes or so. But he talked about taking over the reins for Vince. He was basically notified um, the day before, I believe, that he was taking over. He was just like, "You're gonna take over. That's it."
Okay.
Literally, and he mentioned it. Like he's been preparing for his moment. He mentioned talking to Vince, and Vince said, "This is what you've been getting ready for." Like Vince gave him advice. He says, "You're gonna do a lot of things
Mhm.
and question whether I would do them. You can't do it like that. You have to do them the way you would do it." Basically, it's good, some good advice there. He's mentioned, he used an example saying, well, saying about like ice cream, how
Oh,
it's a
yes,
chocolate and the
yes.
vanilla thing. You like chocolate, I like vanilla.
Mhm.
Sometimes I can't get vanilla, so because it was Vince, so he gets
Yeah.
what he wants. He's like, now I get to decide the flavor of ice cream.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was
Basically,
good. I
yeah,
thought it
no, it
made
was a good
sense.
one. He said it better than I did, but yeah, it was good. He had mentioned, we're going to talk about Sean. Rob is here in our prior time. We'll talk about him as well. But no, he had also mentioned that he and Stephanie were getting ready to go to like the lake to kind of rest. And she got a phone call on the way over saying, "Hey, we need you to take over for CEO duties." And she like had to make the decision really quick too. It was a quick turnaround.
A
So
decision for what? They didn't have a choice.
yeah, she's like, "We need an answer that you're going to replace him, or I guess he would have found someone else
Yeah.
to do
Nick
it. I
Khan.
guess perhaps." But no, so he talked about his health. He talked about his new role. He
Mhm.
talked about, he was asked, how's the environment, change. It seems like everyone's got kind of a pep in their step, with everything. And he was like, yeah, I want to make myself available. He questioned his ability to do what Vince did as well.
Mhm.
He stated, 1 minute Vince is doing this and that. The next minute he has to talk to a superstar about something
Mhm.
completely different, and he has to be on top of that. He's like, as long as I do one thing at a time, I'll be able to do it and stuff like that. And so he talks about the responsibilities Vince had to do and everything. um and he talked about the championships, the mid-card titles. I think he was asked like, Ariel asked him about the titles kind of meaning more now. He's like,
Mhm.
it's not about that. It's like I'm building a show that I like.
Mhm.
So he's like, I like, the old school mentality of that stuff, where, the titles were held by, those big names.
Mhm.
And so that's why he wants to make these titles quote unquote mean more. But it's not like I'm trying to do this, like, oh, Vince didn't do this. He's like, I'm just trying to
Right.
make it the best show possible, the way I see it. And so I thought it was really good insight. Go ahead and check out that interview. It's the full episode is on, I believe, BT Sports or
Yeah, it said
Ariel
BT
Meets. It's
BT
called Ariel
Sports
Meets. Yeah.
on BT Sports on YouTube it looked like, but if you just type in Ariel Hawani and just put in type in that and
Yeah,
Triple
it'll
H,
come up.
it'll come right
It'll
up.
come up.
Yeah.
Speaking of Triple H, it was September 6th. So what was it, yesterday, I believe?
Mm-hmm.
It was officially announced. This is a statement from WWE. WWE today announced that Paul Triple H Levesque has been elevated to Chief Content Officer. Additionally, the company has promoted Frank A. Riddick III to president and chief financial officer.
Who?
I don't know, but I think he was interim CFO for a while. So I don't know. I don't know who he is, but I guess he's doing a good job too. So good for him. Since taking over creative for WWE, Levesque has architected a 15% spike in Monday Night Raw's viewership and double-digit increases in social media engagement. As Chief Content Officer, Levesque will oversee creative writing, talent relations, live events, talent development, and creative services. The role will report to WWE co-CEO Nick Khan. This is the quote. WWE is one of the most prolific producers of premium content in the world. I look forward to this amazing opportunity, said Levesque. Having spent my entire career in this business, I'm confident that we have the right pieces in place to continue to grow our audience and deliver for our fans around the world. And I kind of skip over the Riddick stuff. There's a good paragraph there. No offense to him, but this is let's see. This is a statement, a joint statement from Stephanie and McCann. We are excited to announce these expanded roles for Paul and Frank, which will enhance WWE's ability to create premium content for our partners around the world and ultimately drive our business forward. Basically, Triple H is kind of doing what he's been doing. I think they've just kind of gave him an acronym, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
Because he was already.
Because he had 3 titles.
He had the head of creative. He had the EVP of talent relations, which just says creative writing, talent relations, live events, talent development. So he's basically just overseeing kind of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's necessarily a bigger role, but they said elevated. So I'm assuming it's
they just kind of lumped all of his roles into one.
And call him Chief Content Officer. So he is the official CCO now of the company. Good for him. It seems like it is a more important role, even if it's kind of the same thing he's been doing. But good for him. Someone else who was recently promoted, we mentioned it last week, but I don't know if it was made official or not. But Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels has been promoted. This comes from CBS Sports. CBS Sports confirmed that the legendary wrestler has been promoted to Senior Vice President of Talent Development, Creative. So the change in title comes after Michaels was noted as VP of Talent Development Creative in August, as a creation of NXT Europe was announced. So I don't know what your background is. D'Lo gone from Impact. That's the least news. That's the least amount of news.
Background to mention in the chat that D'Lo Brown is gone from Impact Wrestling. He puts a background of D'Lo Brown and Deborah McMichael, or Deborah, whatever she goes by nowadays. Rob, what are you doing? Carry on.
So basically, following this promotion, HBK will continue to oversee creative in NXT, as well as being in charge of development of talent in WWE's developmental brand. He will oversee the expansion of the NXT brand, including the expansion of NXT UK into NXT Europe. Talks a little bit more about that, but that basically says he's running the developmental program down there. I think he's doing a fine job. When you have the beautiful, the stunning, Toxic Attraction.
She won the title, and then she takes the day off.
She's exhausted. She took on the final boss. And I forgot her name. Blair Davenport, that's her name. But Mandy Rose wins a very important match, a unification match, so she's got to go rest. She pulled off the Shawn Michaels picture with the titles. Good for her. She looks great. Did you see my comments? I shared it with you, and then Gigi Dolan also
I did. Who is
wearing some interesting attire, also from Toxic Attraction. The DMs you left.
No, I remember. I just didn't remember her because I was like
wearing a plaid outfit.
I was gonna say she's one of the beautiful people. I know that's not their name, but that's what I keep going back to.
Toxic Attraction, sir. The only Toxic Attraction in AEW right now is CM Punk. So, anyways, but I'm just mesmerized. I was sweating all week. Had nothing to do with the weather.
Yeah, I bet. No, I think they're building her up, and you think differently of Mandy Rose at this point in her career than you did at any other point, right? Because before I'm just like, whatever.
She's one of the longest reigning NXT champions.
She is.
That's crazy to think about.
And it's happened like it doesn't seem like it seemed like she just kind of got there, I feel. But yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. Like when WWE can't, and a lot of it has to do with the superstars. So I don't want to get that lost in what I may say here, but it's just like sometimes it's all it takes is just an extra effort on the wrestler's part, or and maybe a little bit of belief and following through with that belief from the booking, and your whole perception of someone can change, right? Like Mandy Rose, I was like, Mandy Rose can't have a good match, or like, you just think that. Like, I don't know that to be true, but it's just she was never put in a spot for me to say, oh yeah, she's had good matches before. But now I'm just like, hey, she has a character I can get behind and know that she has a chance of winning this, right? Like, where did she start? Was she with Ruby Riott and all them? Who was she with? Or how did she come in?
Paige. She was with Paige.
She was in Paige's group. That's right.
Yeah.
And Sonya, well, not Sonya.
Sonya was in there too. They were.
Yeah, it was Mandy and Sonya. No. Okay. Yeah. So see, I would have never would have.
Yeah.
Thought that they were gonna develop into what they have. So
absolutely. Let's go back to AEW. Let's talk a little more AEW. I know so much AEW discussion this week.
Yep.
Oh, don't worry. Next week I'm not gonna mention anything.
Yeah, we hit the quota for the year.
Unless CM Punk, it's announced that he's fired or something. But
exactly.
Anyways, Malachi Black apparently requested his release last week from the company, citing mental health issues as well as dealing with some personal stuff. It has been reported this week after his all-out match. I believe he had a 6-man tag match, or he did end up losing. It has apparently been made official that he has got a conditional release, I believe it's called. I don't know exactly that's the correct way to say it, but basically, from what I've seen, don't know how accurate it is, he has been released, but it basically can't show up anywhere else for the foreseeable future, which I would think, with his mental, if he's dealing with some stuff, he probably wouldn't show up anywhere else anyways. But essentially, I believe it's like a non-compete clause. And I believe he is welcome back within the company. I'm sure they would love to have him back.
It's probably like a 90-day thing or something like that. Yeah. But you're not worried too much about it if it's just a mental health thing or something he needs to take care of personally, whatever. Like, I think that's good, and that's what AEW should be doing, right? Like, and just everything's on the up and up. So I think that's good. I think that's a good sign for them, and just considering all that AEW has going on, the fact that they can still kind of do that for someone like Black, I think is a good deal. I believe after his match, he kind of bowed and gave like a kiss of some sort to the crowd. Yeah. So he kind of knew that was kind of his last match for a little bit while he takes care of some stuff. So all good stuff.
Best of luck to him. Hopefully he takes care of everything. Not that it matters, but does he go back to AEW, or is he WWE bound when that time comes?
I mean, if it's something too where he has the opportunity to sit it out and maybe really is looking for, and he's free to choose somewhere, maybe he does go back to WWE, because I mean, he was probably more or less a Triple H guy. He was in that NXT.
His wife
umbrella. His wife's there, came back.
I don't know what kind of personal situation was happening. I don't know if it had anything to do with her, because she has not been on TV either. But she was citing, at least on Comic-Con, there was like an injury, but I don't know the extent of that injury. I don't know. There's not really much detail about it. So
I mean, she was at SoFi Stadium the other, like last month when I was there, or however long that was. So yeah, I mean, we'll see, but I think it's possible he comes back.
Sure. Let's see what else we got.
Everyone Bobby else Fish. Coming back.
No, Bobby Fish is a free agent.
I don't know why.
Well, like, Tony Khan didn't want to sign him, and he kind of killed that entire feud that was supposed to happen, I think, between the Elite and the Undisputed
I mean,
Era.
I
Is
don't
dead in
think
the
Bobby
water.
Fish is no longer the reason for that whole mess up.
Well, no, but if they were trying to plant those seeds, that it's not happening anymore.
Yeah.
I think we mentioned. Did we mention that we talked about this last week? Right? I think we felt like we
I think
did.
we kind of did a little bit. He's like
So
he was on a shorter deal. I think I saw that
yeah,
maybe
apparently
the other
Kyle
guys.
Riley's injured and Adam Cole's injured. So I don't know. Guys falling left and right. So hopefully we'll see beautiful Bobby Fish
Somewhere.
at the Performance Center or something, training someone. I don't know.
Yeah, doing something. There was another big WWE return. Maybe we'll get to that after the break, actually, because we'll save that for that.
Kurt Angle is not the big return, Rob.
Were they off of the whole hometown hero stuff? I don't think they announced one.
They didn't have a hometown hero.
Yeah, maybe it depends where they're at. I mean, if they just go to wherever, then maybe if there's just no one there, there's no one there. But
You want to talk about McAfee real quick?
no, I think we could stay McAfee for after 2, because I can go into details about that. And we need to talk about Dominic Mysterio.
I think we'll have time. We kind of rushed through everything.
We can. You're saying we don't, or we do?
Well, we can.
Yeah, we can, because before you didn't want to. And
I enjoyed the Judgment Day. I like the Judgment Day.
Well,
we can talk about them.
And Rob are gonna like it even more because Dominic Mysterio is now in the Judgment Day.
There'll be more buzz if Gilbert was in it.
No.
Dominic Mysterio is a man now.
Yeah,
I'm disappointed in him because I would have done it a lot sooner.
Wow. There's your true colors.
I would have said if I had to choose between Rey Mysterio and Rhea Ripley, what do you think I'm gonna choose?
Rey Mysterio.
I don't care if he's my dad. I'm going.
Can we go to commercial break? Go to commercial break.
30 seconds. When we return, we're going to talk more about our tribal chief because we need to put some respect in his name. We got to talk about Clash at the Castle. We have to talk about the Clash.
Our predictions, yeah. We got to see who.
I don't even know if we have time, but we'll try and get through it.
I mean, we have to now.
We'll be right back. We are 20 Trust Radio. 20 Trust Radio is 20trustmedia.com and 88.1 FM, KKJZ, HD3, Long Beach, Los Angeles. Welcome back to episode 211 of Beyond the Ropes. We are BTR Pro Wrestling Talk. Stay with me, James. Pro Wrestling Talk. I am your host, Ethan, joined alongside the analyst, James Williams, and producer, Rob Flores. And we do have our PA, Yudith Avelar Velasco. I didn't see the last comment you left. I said her name right? That's right. Good job, me. I said it right this time, but I said it right at least once. So there you go.
I have some of the TV ratings if you want to get into that real quick.
Throw those numbers out. Why not?
All right. I couldn't find Raw for whatever reason, but considering the success they have,
I'm sure they're fine.
I would assume they're fine, but actually, I wonder because they did have a college football game on Monday that did take place on Monday Night Football. Football is going to be starting this week, and by football I mean the NFL. So we'll start getting a Monday Night Football game. So we'll see how Raw is holding up by the time it's competing with Monday Night Football, for example. But with that being said, I do have some other numbers, and we'll get into that now. We'll talk about AEW and AEW Dynamite with 1.5, just 1.05 million for Dynamite. Your Rampage episode for the past week had 431,000. NXT had 676,000. And SmackDown had 1.99, just short, maybe like one person short of 2 million. So those are your numbers. Don't have Raw off the top of my head, or off the top of, just off the top of my head, and with the information I was able to collect. But I would imagine it did pretty well for itself. But going forward, it definitely will be something that we're going to have to watch here over the next couple weeks. And speaking of the start of football, You did mention Pat McAfee and some of what he's going on. I didn't think we went into too much detail before the commercial break there. So what stood out to you about that? Or do you want me to kind of to lead on some of that?
Go ahead. Lead it away.
All righty. No. Yeah, no, good stuff. It kind of came out, I think it came out like earlier today, the day we're recording this on Wednesday night. Pat McAfee will be doing college game day, which is a college football pre-game show that kind of highlights kind of what fans are going to be looking forward to early Saturday morning ahead of some of the big games. And usually they'll record from a college campus that will usually be the site of the biggest college football game for that Saturday. So it's a pretty legendary show. It has, some notable segments, and they'll usually have a special guest picker that will help pick some of the college or give some predictions on who will win some of the games that day. The Undertaker's been on there. I'm pretty sure Ric Flair's probably been on there as well. But yeah,
I might have made an appearance back there.
You may have made an appearance. There's no, you didn't. But yeah, so so Pat McAfee will be doing that. I'm not sure what the capacity will be, but obviously, it's going to be a big enough capacity that's going to keep him off Friday Night SmackDown for at least the duration of the for the college football season, and that will usually run up until the second week of January. I'm assuming he'll probably do the college football championship game, and that will be in LA actually at SoFi in January of 2023. But yeah, Pat McAfee will be involved in the college football coverage for ESPN doing that. And good for him. And as Triple H tweeted earlier, he had a talk with Pat McAfee about it, and they don't want to hold him back or restrain him from everything he's trying to do in his career. So they were more than happy to give Pat McAfee the wiggle room to kind of do that and take a backseat from his duties with WWE for the time being. He's still under contract with them. Obviously, he just signed an extension with them not too long ago, just within like the last month or so. So it will probably be Corey Graves or someone like that who's taken over that spot in the time being. But I believe Pat McAfee would have mentioned something about it on his episode for today. I have to go back and listen to his thoughts.
He mentioned everything. He did mention that he intended on still doing the WWE SmackDown stuff, but WWE insisted just to focus on that. They didn't want to put too much work on him. Focus on the college football stuff. He'll be back after it's done. But he's definitely been a joy to watch and listen to over on SmackDown. A lot of people credit him for kind of bringing out the livelier side of Michael Cole.
Yeah.
And he's
one of his
Michael
best
Cole.
buds.
Yeah, absolutely, they're good friends as well. Michael Cole has been freer since the new creative direction. Anyways, like he's sounded good. So I think even with that McAfee, he'll be fine.
You could tell a difference in his like broadcast and
I do.
Okay.
I
haven't even really like gone out of my way to like actually catch it or pay attention to it, but that's a good point. I have to listen for that. Considering I remember it's been a couple years now, but when they were trying to get you to watch or download the WWE app, and no one knew why until they finally told us it was about the network, but they were, having him say that over and over. So very interesting. And yeah, nothing but the best for Pat McAfee. Obviously, he has a busy schedule, and I think before I even knew he was going to be leaving WWE for a little bit, I saw that he was going to be on the college game day show, and I was like, man, he's gonna have a busy schedule. And when you said that he still wanted to do WWE stuff at the same time, I totally wasn't surprised by that, because I can totally see him hopping on a plane and still trying to do that and live that busy life. But in a way, I'm glad that he's not, because he's going to be busy. He's going to overwork himself. He does a lot of stuff, and he just needs to take some time to kind of chill out a little bit. So I think nothing but good things will come for Pat McAfee going forward throughout his career as he continues to carve his own path. Speaking of Triple H, and I believe I heard this mentioned at the Clash when they did a media kind of scrum too. Something was, I think, mentioned about Bad Bunny, and he said, "Oh yeah, we've seen Bad Bunny soon." Triple H actually tweeted he was out at Bad Bunny's concert today or something.
Mhm.
I don't remember the location. I think that was in Texas, and that wherever it's going to be was the venue, I think, for an upcoming Royal Rumble, if I'm not mistaken, and from what I took away from that tweet. So, Triple H, a busy man, but still getting some time to catch some Bad Bunny.
Well, they're going to talk some business. That's why he mentioned Bad Bunny. He said, we're going to talk about some things. So we might be seeing Bad Bunny on our TV screens once again in the near future. Speaking of TV screens, last weekend was the, say it with me, James, Premium Live event. Clash at the Castle, the first stadium show in the United Kingdom in 30 years since SummerSlam 92. Your guy Bret Hart was in attendance, stinking up a storm. That poor fan.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
There was a picture going around of Bret Hart standing smiling and the lady in the back covering her nose.
Can't catch a break.
Poor Bret. Anyways, we talked about Michael's commentary. Well, he killed it in this opening match with a 6-woman tag match. Damage Control, they got the official title. Damage Control, they got a theme song talking about Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Took on the team of Raw Women's Champion Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss, and Asuka. Fun match. Michael Cole even mentioned that Asuka and Io, along with Io's sister, were in a faction in Japan. So that's part of the kind of freedom that he's got in there. Because that would not have been mentioned specifically like that.
Yeah, not in that detail, if anything. Maybe that they were partners at one point, but
yeah, he mentioned the detail their history. And so it was a fun opening contest. We got to see everyone hit their finishing maneuver on Bianca Belair. Bayley ended up picking up the victory, pinning the champion. Bayley's got some potential future title opportunity, perhaps.
You said Bayley does?
Bayley pinned Bianca, so.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. They got to get her in that main event spot for the women's division. Not surprised again at all.
Damage Control, the other two members, will be getting their rematch for those Raw WWE Tag Team Championships next week on Raw. They did acknowledge that Dakota Kai was not the legal individual in that match. So, rightfully so, they get a title match coming up very shortly.
I mean, I guess.
Gunther and Sheamus. What a hard-hitting affair. But before we get into that, we got a nice little surprise. Imperium is back together. I'm forgetting the new name of what's his name? It's Giovanni Vinci, I believe is his name. Now, formerly Fabian Eichner. He got left behind when Gunther and Ludwig were called up a few months back. Well, they reunited them, and Imperium is back together.
What was the reason for him being left behind? Was it COVID?
I don't know. No, I think
he wasn't released though, right?
He wasn't released. Vince just wanted Gunther, and he gave it was a completely different gimmick for the other guy, Vinci, and he wasn't there very long because he'd been off TV, and I guess they brought him back. And Imperium, they specifically said Imperium is back. So
there you go. Especially since if they're looking for things to do with the UK guys, I mean, if he was still on the UK brand, you just bring him over.
They took on the team of the Brawling Brutes, so the two members took out the other two members. That was really cool to see. We got to see a brutal match between Sheamus and Gunther. A lot of red marks all over the chest. Just hard-hitting stuff. Great match. Gunther ended up winning with a devastating clothesline. Not too often you see a clothesline get the victory, but when it's coming from Gunther, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Ended up retaining the title. Sheamus got a standing ovation.
So, wow, good for Sheamus.
Well done. We got another match, which was the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler. This was a fun little match. Nothing too special here. It was what it was. Liv ended up getting the clean victory here, hitting Oblivion to pin Shayna Baszler. So Shayna dominated the majority of the match, but Liv ended up getting the victory and retaining the title. looking to see where this goes from here. Who's going to be her next challenger? Is it Ronda again? Or, is Shayna going to keep trying to chase after the title?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Next up, we had the team of Edge and Rey Mysterio taking on the Judgment Day. Edge came out in a luchador mask, which is hilarious. They ended up beating the Judgment Day. And after the match, that turncoat traitor, Dominic Mysterio, right to poor Edge's family jewels, just took them out. Hopefully.
And this was after the match?
This was after the match, after he actually helped them win the match. Yeah, he helped them. He got involved and helped them out. And then he clotheslined his own father.
Yeah.
So, what a snake.
I guess
What a
it'd be
bad-
like that sometimes.
You know what? After what happened on Monday, I can't say I blame him. I would have done the same thing. Would you have done the same thing, James?
No.
What?
I mean, no.
If Rhea Ripley told me you're on our side, I said okay.
I'd run away. I don't know.
I
I mean, we knew it was coming.
Man.
We knew it was coming. My thing is, I hope when it's one-on-one, Ray and Dominic, that it's meaningful and that, and that's at WrestleMania or something. Like, obviously, and I don't think it's gonna be like on Raw or something.
No, it'll
But
be a bigger show.
I need it at a SummerSlam. Well, we just had SummerSlam. I need it at Royal Rumble.
It's gonna happen at Crown Jewel. Come on now.
But that's after WrestleMania.
It's coming up.
It
It's
is.
in November. They're doing it in October. Don't they usually have one at the end of the year?
Yeah, well, they do kind of have like two.
Yeah.
I don't want it there. I want it at WrestleMania or Royal Rumble.
I'd be surprised if that happens, but we'll see. We'll see.
Or Survivor Series. Survivor Series is coming up too, I think.
Maybe, yeah, we could see that. We had Seth freaking Rollins versus Matt Riddle. Another stellar match. These two have great chemistry. Seth Rollins, with a stomp from the second rope, ended up getting the victory there. But it looks like we may be getting an Extreme Rules rematch at Extreme Rules next month. So we'll be seeing that. And in the main event, Broken Dream started playing. Everyone popped. Drew McIntyre's old theme song, kind of everyone's been wanting. Kicked off with that. Then he went into his current theme song.
Trying to remember what it was.
Well, watch the show, sir. You didn't watch the Clash? Come on now.
I know, but I'm trying to like really remember what his old theme was.
I'm sure it's on Twitter. We'll send you a clip.
I'll probably remember once I hear it.
The Tribal Chief came out solo. You know what I mean? But he wasn't solo. If you know what I mean.
I see what you did there.
Stellar match. Of course, the Tribal Chief carried. Nothing surprising there. I'll be honest, it almost had me there. Almost had me.
You thought it was gonna be it, huh?
No, I wasn't watching this live, so I knew it. I knew it.
I mean,
but if I were watching it live, it would have had me for a second.
I mean, it probably would have. I mean, they had to build it up.
There was a remember after a spear.
Well, remember going into this, we kind of there was some concern and there was some thought, and then you even had Austin Theory come out there and try to catch. He
got knocked out by Tyson.
He got knocked out. He did, and Fury did a press conference after too. Made it sound like he's willing to do business with the WWE when he's retired from boxing, and we kind of knew that. So Triple H had nothing but good things to say about him. So yeah, so we'll see where they go with Theory and Fury, but
the bloodline runs deep, sir.
Yep.
I might need to update this picture. First off, we gotta add Sammy somewhere here, because he's the honorary Uce.
That's true.
But now we might have to add one Solo Sikoa, as expected.
Yeah, it was kind of like, oh, they're gonna move him up, and they
kind of like did. Yeah, he's gonna show up, and he showed up. He gave the assist there. Roman saw him. He let him walk behind him after the match in the Ram. So we'll be seeing the introduction of one Solo Sikoa on SmackDown. I like this.
What do you think about Solo joining the group? Do you think he's gonna fit in? Do you think he?
I'm interested in them building more layers to the bloodline. And see,
Mhm.
maybe Sammy might be the odd one out. Perhaps,
Yeah.
potentially. Could
I
be.
mean, I don't expect Solo to be the comedy relief guy, so I think Sammy's still
No, but I don't know. They might not want Sammy around much longer.
Jimmy doesn't, or is it Jay? Jay doesn't.
Jay doesn't. Main event
Jay
Jay.
doesn't.
So Jimmy's all fine with it. He's happy to have Sammy around.
Jimmy
They
big
got their own
chilling.
handshake.
Yeah,
You know.
he's big chilling.
No.
Not so much for Jay.
Roman likes Sammy, but you know, I don't know. Does Solo like Sammy? That's another issue there.
Oh, we'll find out.
Solo look mean. I'm scared.
Yeah.
They said the roughest of the Usos when it came out.
And-
Like, oh no.
And he's the brother of the Usos, correct?
He's
No.
the younger brother of the Usos. Yes, he is. Yes.
So he's
Roman's
Rikishi's
cousin.
son too.
He's Rikishi's just having children left and right over here. Until next time, it's been absolutely too sweet.